Welcome to Access on Location. I'm your host, Kayla Gelman, and I'm here at Queensbury Centre for the 2014 Regina Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
I would like to wish you a warm welcome here to the Queensbury Centre for the Regina Sports Hall of Fame's 2014 induction ceremony. My name is Chris Hodges and I'll be your MC for the event. Very pleased to have been asked once again to come back and chair the proceedings. It is the 8th year that I have done this, and it's interesting that over the years it seems that every time I come to the podium I'm wearing a different hat at CTV Regina. I've been a news reporter, I've been the assignment editor, I was a producer for a while, I've jumped in as a news anchor every once in a while, filled in for JC Garden in the weather, and I'm currently host of the morning show, although technically I suppose I'm on leave, performing full-time dad duties, and we'll be joining the morning show again in the spring after the hockey season is over. But many of you would know, at least I hope you would know, for the sake of my ego, that for the first 8 years in the community I was evening and weekend sports guy at CTV Regina. And it was in that position that I really had the opportunity to develop a true understanding of just what amateur sports means to our community. It's true that the Riders are kings in this town. In fact, I've always said that if the Riders ever learned how to fart in the key of G, we would break into live programming and Lee Jones would head down to Mosaic Stadium. They play, we watch, they score, we cheer, they throw an interception, and we look to see if the backup quarterback is searching for his helmet. But as my time as the evening and weekend sports guy at CTV continued, I began to develop a truer understanding and a truer appreciation for just how much amateur sports means to this community. And it's, I've always felt that the amateur sports is where you find a lot of the really great stories. So, if I may, I'd like to try and explain to you, to me, what it is that makes amateur sports so great. For me, it was the understanding that for many of the local athletes, their dedication to athletic excellence came as part of what was already a very busy life. The drive to put on your shoes and take to the streets in the early morning hours, or an early morning spin class and lift session came before a full workday, or in some cases that quick 5K run came after you had fed the kids but before they had gone to bed for the night. In flexing your athletic muscles, you did so in relative anonymity. The long miles in the car to get to the competitions, the hotel bills, the meals that you had to incur along the way, the entry fees and the post-celebratory beers. You could have given it up at any time. And quite frankly, not many people would have noticed. But you kept on keeping on, mile after mile, jump after jump, game after game, for nothing more than simply the rewards of competition. Because inside each and every one of you is a fire that can't really be extinguished. And it can't really be fueled by anything other than the thrill or the camaraderie or the spirit of athletic competition. It's also the friendships that are forged by the fires of that competition. In some cases, it's the group of teenage boys, young men, that are brought together by a common pursuit, that are galvanized by what turns out to be the ultimate victory in their sport. They form friendships that in many cases are as strong now as they were back then, and in other cases, time and distance has wedged their way in between them, but all it takes is an event such as this for them to come together, try not to notice the thinning hairline and the ever-expanding paunch, and they are instantly rekindled friendships as they were when they were once teammates so many years ago. It's also the understanding that every athlete that is given the chance to compete and to succeed does so while standing on the shoulders of a community filled with leaders and volunteers that give freely of their time so that these events can take place. It's realizing that the door to the arena is open at 6:45, not by magic or by happen chance, but because somebody got there at 6:30 to make sure that it was. It's the understanding that every game, every frame, every inning, every period, every meet happened because there were a host of people who in many cases were working just as hard as the athletes were. And in the world of amateur sports, if you thought the athletes toiled in the shadows, it was nothing compared to the legion of judges, officials, and administrators. And yet there they were, not asking for glory or recognition, but rather selling 50-50 tickets, or in some cases taking admissions at the door. This, right here, in this room tonight, is what makes sports great. It's what makes Regina a great community to live. And it's what makes us all, in our own way, champions. At this time, I would like to introduce the Board of Directors for the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. President Barry Taman, past President Tom Shepard, please stand. Daryl Davis, give us a wave. Kathy Glasser is in the room, as is Rod Schmidt. Daryl Davis I've seen tonight. I've also seen Frank Kovacs this evening. Jana Linner I have not seen, although it wouldn't surprise me if she was here. Murray McCormick's in the back, Cheryl Morse, Doug McCaw, Blair Watson, and Marlene Hoffman when you first walked in. Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Directors for the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Over the years, the Regina Sports Hall of Fame has added a number of inductees, many of whom return on an annual basis to help welcome the next set of inductees into the hallowed halls. At this time, I would like to ask anyone in the room who has previously been inducted with enshrinement into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame to stand and to be acknowledged tonight. You'll find a list of all the past inductees and the honorary inductees in the program that is on your table this evening. Also to be noted that the Regina Sports Hall of Fame's permanent location is on the main level of the Cooperator Center at Evraz Place, which is the six-rink facility next door. It's a wonderful display, and if you have an opportunity over the course of the weekend or at any point during your time at the Cooperator Center, I would encourage you to head over and take a look at not only this year's induction class, but also the past inductees who are proudly and prominently displayed. Very pleased to have with us tonight Regina Deputy Mayor Jerry Flegel. Jerry is sitting for his third term as a member of Regina City Council representing Ward 10. He's been a fixture not only in the business community, but also one who's developed amateur athletes here in the city himself. Coached hockey, coached soccer, baseball for many years. Also spent some time as the president of the North Regina Little League and continues to contribute to the community in a variety of capacities. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jerry Flegel to bring greetings on behalf of the city.
Appreciate that welcome, and thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. I thought Chris was going to introduce, when he was talking about ever-thinning hairline and expanding waist, my colleague, Councillor Hinks, but he already did that, so Terry, welcome out tonight. I hope you have a good night. I know you're a big fan of the sporting community of Regina, as am I. As Chris mentioned, I did a lot of different things, but the thing about this is for you guys. And Mayor Fougere would love to have been here, but again, other commitments, and myself, and the rest of my colleagues on council. This is now the 12th annual induction ceremony for the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight's ceremony provides our city with the perfect opportunity to give well-deserved recognition to those people who have made a significant impact in the sporting community in Regina. We travel around, and it always used to be, where is Regina? Today it's becoming, how do we get there? And what are you guys doing that's so good? And that's an applause to you guys, and it makes our jobs a lot easier on City Council because all we have to do is find space for everybody to live the next 5-10 years. I just spoke with the group of people from Saskatoon on the weekend about the Lawson, and it was how great the facility was, and I did warn the people of Saskatoon, be careful, because if you come here again, you may want to stay for the next 50 years. And I guess that's a point that we look at in terms of council as a good thing, because we want people to come. We want people to visit. We want world-class athletes like we have in the room here tonight. Besides the people that are being honored tonight, there are others. On behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Regina, again, congratulations to all of you. I'm deeply impressed by the variety of the sporting community that we have: hockey, football, figure skating, track and field, triathlons, and just plain out running. Milos, you've run the world, and all of you other people that are honored tonight, I applaud you as well. Clear indication of the great depth and sport talent that Regina has. And on that, I'm going to leave this for the rest of the people that are going to be inducted. Congratulations to all. Great dinner, great function, great food, friendliness, friendship. Enjoy the rest of the night. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jerry. The Regina Sports Hall of Fame is all about honoring the past and inspiring the future, and it takes a dedicated team of volunteers that sit on the board of directors to do that. At this point, I would like to invite Barry Tamman, the president of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, to come forward and give welcome on behalf of the Hall of Fame board.
Well, you didn't boo the Tamman. Anyways, that's good. Thanks, Chris. Deputy Mayor Flegel, Councillor Hicks, the Glasser family, inductees, our past inductees, and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here tonight and to congratulate our athletes, builders, and team entering the Sport Hall of Fame. Your accomplishments are numerous and diverse, and you've brought recognition to yourself in this great city. To your family and friends, may I extend a warm welcome and hope you enjoy yourself tonight. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all of you, all our ticket buyers, all our patrons out here tonight. Your support is great, and it really makes for a special evening for our inductees. Also like to thank our funders, Saskatchewan Lotteries, SAS Sport, our good friends, the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, and of course our hosts, Evraz Place, where our hall is located. It's always a great evening. I know I've been to quite a few of these, and we try to make it as a fun evening, and it's all about the inductees. So a special thanks to the person that puts it all together on behalf of the board, Kathy Glasser, one-man wrecking crew, Marlene Hoffman, who helped with our ticket sales, and I know with both of them it's just better to just stay out of the way and let them do everything. They make us look really, really good. To Access Communications, thanks for covering our event once again. To Chris, our MC, he's a great friend of the hall, and he's a great contributor to our city. To my fellow board members, thanks for all the support and the help here tonight and helping selling the tickets. They really are the driving force, and I know there's quite a few past board members out here. They really fuel what this hall is all about. We're only 12 years old, and we're growing all the time, so thanks to my board members and all the past board members. And just a hint, there's always room for new board members. We'll put the call out. Once again, to our inductees, congratulations, and enjoy the evening. Thanks.
Regina Sports Hall of Fame, as we mentioned, is all about honoring the past and inspiring the future, and we are very pleased to induct the following into the Hall of Fame. Our first inductee into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame is Carol Lafayette Boyd, an athlete in the sport of track and field.
I'm here with Carol Lafayette Boyd, one of the inductees into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame this evening. Thanks for joining me tonight. Now, I'm just wondering, what got you into track and field, especially at the age that you ended up starting at?
Yeah, I started at 50. I saw that what I had been doing is trying to run a mile and see if I could do that. Then I found out that older people could do track and field. And when I was in high school at Sheldon, I was kind of a track star. So I decided to get back in that because they were having Canadian Masters here in Regina in 1992. And I got hooked. Yeah.
So what's been one of your favorite events that you get to do?
I think the 100 is my favorite because it's short.
So you've always been a runner then?
Well, from when I left high school and until I turned 50, I didn't do really any running. I just run around the block kind of thing. That was it, yeah.
Get you a little bit of exercise. Right. So how are you feeling about this evening? What are your thoughts going through your head about getting the award?
Well, I'm very honored that I was accepted. Although I think there are other people that deserve the award, like our coaches and our officials, because without them, we wouldn't be here, not one of us. Yeah. So I am honored.
Well, it's definitely a great reward. Now, what have been some of your favorite memories over the past few years in track and field?
I think attending the World Championships, because you have a lot of competition there. You know, like for my age group, The first one I think was 58 or something, and that was the first time I had to do a heat, because just doing in Canada, there's usually not more than 8 of us, and I had to do heats. And when I went to Italy in 2007 at age 65, there were I think we had to run 3 heats, so that was really neat to be able to do that. So Italy, I enjoyed Italy, and this year indoors in Budapest, that was really neat too. Yeah.
And you hold a couple records, do you not?
Yes, I do. I think when I last looked, I held 3 world records, 2 indoors in the long jump and triple, and 1 outdoors in the long jump.
Well, congratulations on that. So now, what kind of legacy are you hoping that you can leave behind after this evening?
Well, I want to continue to run and jump as long as I can. I hope to be doing it when I'm past 100. And but what I hope is that when people see that older people can do this, that it's a good lifestyle, and that we might get more masters coming out and joining us.
And any kind of future plans to continue on? Any more competitions in the future?
Yes, every 2 years there's a World Outdoors, and every 2 years there's a World Indoors. And I plan to continue to compete wherever I can. So, yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time this evening, and once again, congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much.
Carol began competing in Masters events, which are for athletes over the age of 35, with the Regina Athletics Track Club back in 1992. And she felt like she needed to give everybody a bit of a chance to compete, so she waited till she was 50 before she got involved. And at the age of 50, made an immediate impact in the world of Masters athletics. She was a member of Team Canada at no less than 4 World Masters Games, competing in Italy in 2007, Kamloops, British Columbia in 2010, Sacramento, California in 2012, and Budapest, Hungary in 2014. At the time of the induction, which of course would be this evening, Carol holds Saskatchewan and Canadian records in the women's 60 to 64, 65 to 69, and 70 to 74 age group categories. At the North American, Central American, and Caribbean World Masters and Canadian Masters Athletic Championships in 2012, Carol broke world records in women's 70-plus long jump and set meet records in the 100-meter and 200-meter events, and has 15 Canadian Masters records to her credit, as well as 3 world records. She has a triple jump mark of 8 meters, 18 centimeters, which was set back in 2013, a long jump of 4:28, which she accomplished in 2010, and a 200-meter time of 29.82 seconds in 2007. Among Carol's laurels are 4 Bob Adams Awards of Excellence, 3 Sask Sport Awards as Masters Athlete of the Year, winning that award in 2002, again in 2004, and again in 2007. She's already been inducted into the Canadian Masters Athletics Hall of Fame in 2012 and has an Award of Excellence in Sports from the Daughters of Africa, which she earned back in 2008. Like so many in the room tonight, Carol also gives back to her sport as an official. She officiates local meets, serves as Provincial Masters Coordinator, and serves on numerous athletics boards, as well as a spot with the Saskatchewan African Canadian Heritage Museum. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 inductee, Carol Lafayette Boyd, athlete in the sport of track and field.
Okay, I might be here for a couple of minutes, well, more than that, because there are so many people to thank, just so many. But first, I thank God for my ability and opportunity to participate in this fun sport. Because of the grace of God, I am here, and I give him all the honor and glory. Congratulations to the other inductees. This is really nice. I thank the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for accepting me into their hall. Back in 2011, sports writer Bob Hughes was MC at an event for Fergie Jenkins that was hosted by the Kiwanis and SACM, that's Saskatchewan African Canadian Heritage Museum, which I'm involved with. He suggested I should be in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, so Ralph Leipold of the Kiwanis submitted my name. However, I was not eligible. I'm not ready to retire. When the City of Regina recognized me this year after my performance in Budapest, Councillor Terry Hinks suggested to my husband Lem that he put my name forward to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you, Lem. You are my greatest supporter in more ways than you know. Other family supporters, I got 3 tables here. This isn't all of them. We could have the whole room full of Lafayettes. They've been supporting me since 1992 when I started in Masters Track. They include my brother Arnold and his wife Claire, who screamed me through my first 200 and 100 because I was faltering at 150. That's because of Al. He only taught me to run 150. They also have volunteered at track meets, as have my sisters Vera and Isabel, my nieces Desiree and Karina, and nephews Ethan and Gabriel, and this year my granddaughter Caitlin. My son Lester and my brothers Ed and Arnold have helped out with Masters Meet sponsorship. My sister Shirley and my nephew Todd have joined me in competition, though I think I beat Todd. He's half my age. My nephew Tony and my nieces Sherry, Catherine, and Lori have been there encouraging me, with Lori hounding people to recognize and sponsor me, but nobody's taken her up yet. I tried to get my sisters to come out to run and jump with me, but they lasted 1 day, except for Shirley, who later came back out to seniors competition. My sister Vera did come out and walk with me out at the track, only because we were going to watch our nephew Jeremiah play football, and he was across the way. So thank you all, my wonderful family, who have supported me over these 22 years, and plus before that. Meeting me at the airport, I think you saw some pictures of them there embarrassing my husband at the airport, screaming and yelling and stuff, and for cheering me on in competition. Also those friends, Bev, Barry, and Winnie, who volunteered at events of my meets. But I wouldn't be here, though, if it weren't for the most important people when it comes to athletics. Back in 1992, when I was going to enter my first meet, Wilma Downing, my she's also a 2004 inductee to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, and she was my high school homeroom teacher at Sheldon 58 years ago. I don't think I was born yet. She hooked me up with Coach Mike Zimmerman, who's here tonight, of the Regina Athletics Track Club, who then showed me how to do some warm-ups and then passed me on to Al Sion. And I didn't realize it, but I was with Al for over 15 years, and I guess that's why he has a special place in my heart. In 1996, Selena Coward, who has become my running mate for the last 18 years, she joined up and kind of became my unofficial coach, because Al would tell us what to do, and then we'd go to do it, and I wouldn't remember what we were supposed to do, so Selena would help me out. So Al was my coach for over 15 years, and he was there to send me to 2 world championships in Edmonton and Italy. And in Italy, that's where I beat the world record holders in the races and the long jump. That was really neat. When RAD amalgamated and became Excel Athletica, we were passed on to Terry Mountjoy, and then on to Terry Ekval, and then on to Okari, along with our head coach, Olympic coach, Carla Nichols, and have had help along the way from so many people, the Jess Stats, the Polish Chucks, the Gelsingers, and their children. Also Wade and Bruce, who I get mixed up all the time. There was Larry Longmore, Ted Gilletta, Steve, and others, all very important people. But I also want to tell you a story about Wilma Downing. Back when indoors a few years ago, she and my husband came out to watch me run a 200 meter. And they were complaining that they had to pay $5 to watch me run for 30 seconds. That's when I was really good. Could run it in 30 seconds, but they were complaining about that. So I ran my 200, and I come running up to them after, and they both said to me, "You better get out there. Your race is going to start." They missed my race. They paid $5 and missed my race. And then, of course, there are the fellow athletes are so much fun to be with, from the youngest to the oldest. Like, we have kids that are sometimes 5, 6, and I'm now the oldest in the club, but we did have a couple of people older than me at one time in our Excel Athletica. However, none of this for any of us in any sport would be here without those wonderful, tireless people that Chris mentioned, the officials. There's Jim Langan, Terry Mountjoy, Selena, Del Ludvigsen, Darwin and Sheila Roski, Larry Hesterman, Diana Dillon. I ran track with her mom at Sheldon. Linda Young, I ran track with her at Sheldon. And Sandy Wiest, who went to school with my brother Dave, Al Brown, Grant Van Eaton, and many, many others. And of course, there's Sask Athletics with Bob Reindl and Janine. And then, of course, out at the track, there's Eli and Daryl Mainlander, and I work with Daryl's mother from the city. They have been our mainstay for Masters Track forever. So this recognition really belongs to all of you guys who have been there for me. There are so many who have been there for me in the sport of athletics, track and field, and I know I can't mention all of them. I thank you all. So I accept this induction in memory of my daughter Jackie and son Lester. They express pride in their mother. And thank you. God bless you all.
Our next inductee into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 induction class is Milos Kostic, athlete in the sports of triathlon and road running.
I'm here with Milos Kostic at the Regina Sports Hall of Fame evening, and he is one of the 6 inductees for this evening. Now, tell me first of all, how did you get involved with triathlons?
Well, simply got caught in a draft, so to speak. You know, swimmers know what I mean by that, or bikers as well. When there are people around you swimming or biking in the same direction, it's so much easier to go in the same direction. That's how I got doing it.
So is it something that you really enjoy doing?
Oh yes, oh yes.
And out of all the 3 events that are to partake in that, which one's your favorite?
Well, I have been running for many years, from early 70s. And so running is definitely that's where I'm most comfortable. And although I have been swimming and biking through the years, I do that because it's a part of the triathlon. I do enjoy swimming and biking, but I'm not really that strong in my swim.
Yeah.
So running is certainly my favorite, yes.
Now, you are the Ironman World Championship for the men's age 65 to 69. Can you tell me a bit about this?
Well, of course, my age always comes up. I really don't consider myself that different from an average recreational athlete, and not that different from anybody else out there in the park that you see running and biking. It is my age that usually comes up, and then that's when my performances seem to stand out in comparison to other people of my age. So, although I'm certainly pleased and proud of those results, it is really, I have mixed feelings about it, right? Because it's always related to my age. I have certainly, I'm proud of my accomplishments. I have been in the top 5 marathoners in Canada in my age group for quite a few years, and occasionally I've been top in the world as well. Like I've won Boston marathons, and I won Berlin Marathon just 2 weeks ago in my age group.
It's definitely a great accomplishment.
Right, and I'm I'm not going to be falsely modest about it. I'm certainly proud of the fact that I'm number 1 long-distance triathloner in Canada and in the world sometimes, some years. So that feels really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as I said, although that is a source of my of pleasure and pride, it is also an area of mixed feelings, right? Because it's always related to my age, right? So I often wonder how people look, what people see when they look at me. Do they think I'm just a freak or a person who refuses to act his age, right? I'd rather be, or maybe I'm some kind of a role model, right? And I'm not having any illusions about being a role model. I think that people who fight poverty and ignorance and, disease. They are real role models. So people who raise their voices against war, I mean, they are really somebody to admire. Maybe if I can be a role model to promote and show people that you can be active and enjoy your body, so to speak, through all the ages, then that's a good thing. So maybe just being a role model for spreading happiness is not so bad.
It's always something good to leave
Yes.
behind, for
Yes,
sure. So
certainly.
now, how are you feeling about this evening and about accepting this award?
Well, I'm very happy. I think that, as I mentioned, if I can be some kind of a messenger, and I would certainly like to say to everybody here in Regina what a great city we have, tremendous opportunities for being active. We have great community here with both free and professional advice and help in leading an active lifestyle, making right choices. So go out there and do it. There are many groups here that would just that are very welcoming to people who engage in this sort of lifestyle. If anybody has any doubts about how to do it and where to do it, come and join one of the biking or swimming or running groups, and they'll take you with open arms.
For
And
sure.
so it's just great.
Now, do you have any future plans to continue on with more competitions and more triathlons?
Oh yes, one of the questions I think when I was answering some questions about being considered for this recognition was when I retired, and I found that question a bit odd. I didn't retire, and I do not intend to retire. That's the whole point, just continuing to do it. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time this evening, and once again, congratulations on the award.
Milos began competing in Saskatchewan road running events back in 1980 and advanced quickly to marathons, triathlons rather, and half Ironman events throughout Western Canada, North America, and Europe. Now, since 1982, Milos has completed more than 150 marathons, ultra marathons, and trail running events. I just want to let you know that the first time I met Milos was just after some changes were made to the course of the Queen City Marathon. They were in the process of trying to get certification to become a qualifier for the Boston Marathon. Now, if you're organizing a marathon, the achieved distance that you're trying to attain is 26.2 miles. Now, if you're not a Boston qualifier, it's okay if you're 75 feet short or 65 feet long. But if you're trying to be a qualifier for Boston, everything has to be exactly so. And so it was the process to be granted status as the qualifier is extremely detailed. Every foot of the race needs to be accounted for. And Milos was the guy who made sure that everything was exactly as it should have been. He ran the entire length of the course, the full 26.2 miles, making sure that the mile markers were in the right locations, that every traffic cone was in the right spot, and that every one of the turning arrows painted on the pavement was properly placed. He did that on the Friday, and 2 days later ran in the event itself, finishing among the leaders, no doubt winning his age category that year. Bored by the relative ease and the absence of challenge that marathons provide, in 2004, Milos turned his attention to triathlons. Since then, he has completed 17 half-distance triathlons and 20 full Ironman triathlons. Not surprisingly, success came in relatively short order. Milos won the Canadian Ironman Championship age group titles in 2006, again in 2007, again in 2008, again in 2009, took a year off, and then won again in 2011. Milos then won his first Ironman World Championship age grouping in 2006, setting a world age group record in the process. Now, last weekend, as we all know, was Thanksgiving weekend. It's a very busy time in many households, to be sure. At the Hodges house, got up early, stuffed a turkey, put it in the oven, dragged the chairs down from the basement, found the leaves for the table, tended to the potatoes, watched a little football, very exhausting. Milos was in Hawaii, opening his day with a 3.8 kilometer swim, following that up with a 180 kilometer bike ride, and wrapping up the day with a 42.2 kilometer run, finishing in about the same time that I did everything at my house, 13 hours and 9 minutes. He won his age division at the Ironman World Championship for the 8th straight year. Milos is a two-time winner of the SAS Sport Masters Athlete of the Year, capturing the honor in 2006 and again in 2011. He is 5 times Masters Award Athlete winner from Triathlon Canada, including 3-time Grandmaster Athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 induction class, Milos Kostic, athlete in triathlon and road running.
Well, thank you for coming, especially my friends on the right-hand side. I really didn't expect to be so popular tonight. Well, I have not really prepared to say anything special. Maybe I should just briefly tell you what my history is, running-wise and triathlon-wise. I started running, as I sometimes say, before the running shoes were invented. And that's a fact. It was early 1970s in Vancouver, and I've been running in an old pair of worn-out soccer shoes, which was not that bad because there was a lot of grass and trails there, so it was nice, soft terrain. So one day somebody told me, well, you know, there are some running shoes you can buy downtown. So I went to the Collegiate Sports on corner of Granville and Georgia, and sure enough, I entered the store and there were 2 huge walls just completely filled with running shoes. And they were all blue and they were all Adidas. I thought I was in runner's heaven. Well, soon after that I came to Regina, and I did not really dare right away to go running outside. I was a bit of a shock. And if you believe it, at that time we did not have a field house, and most of the running trails in the park were just totally snowed over. City was not really clearing any of the running paths, and so unless you were prepared to run at 4 in the morning before the traffic picked up, you had to run indoors. So we all ran around the Lawson Pool. Between 12 and 1 every day, we were allowed to run around, and that's where I met a fellow who's actually responsible for all the marathons I've run from then on. His name is Bob Putzlacher. Some of you guys know Bob Putzlacher. He has moved since to Kingston, Ontario. But he decided to run the marathon in Lumsden in 1981, I think. And I was really impressed. I was totally awed by his performance. He ran his first marathon in 3 hours and 7 minutes, so I decided that I have to give it a try. So he soon after that decided he didn't want to run any more marathons, but I was bitten and I continued. So sometime later, a few years later, I was actually caught in a draft. So any of you guys who swim or bike know how sweet the draft is when you find yourself in the midst of a bunch of swimmers, or you're behind some riders. All of a sudden everything is nice and easy. So that's how I started doing triathlons, and really liked it. So maybe one last thing I should say is that the subject of my age always comes along. You know, I consider myself really just an average. I really am an average recreational athlete. But of course, when my performances are compared to the other people of my age, then all of a sudden things start looking differently. So that's what essentially made me. I guess brought me here to this podium. So that is certainly a source of pride and satisfaction, although I really most of all like doing good races, and I love training. I love doing performing good in races. But winning is certainly sweet. I won't deny that. And but I'm under no illusions, really. I'm trying to often figure out what is the social, if any, value of me doing this. And sometimes people say, well, you know, you're a role model. And I wonder, well, what kind of role model? The real role models that I admire are the ones who fight ignorance and disease, poverty, the people who raise their voices against the war and injustice in the world. Those people are real role models. Now, if I can maybe point to people who would like to or who do already engage in active lifestyle, that age really doesn't matter, then I guess I'll accept that as a modest role that I can perform. So maybe my role is to spread a bit of happiness around. I think I'll take that. So maybe the last thing I would like to say is to all those people who are maybe hesitating to become active, to find some time in their busy lives, handling their work and their families and all the worries that come along. I would like to encourage them to consider coming out and joining all the people who are active in our, who have to take some healthy choices and participate in our active lifestyle. This is really a great city. We have fantastic opportunities here, great facilities. We have many clubs and groups who are just waiting to accept everybody with open arms. So please do come out and join us. Thank you.
Our third inductee into the 2004 class, the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, is Sully Glasser, an athlete in the sport of football.
I'm here with Donna McIntyre, and she's the eldest daughter of Sully Glasser, one of the inductees into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame this evening. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Hi.
So I want to get the feeling of what Sully was like during his time with the Rough Riders and out of sports.
He was a very determined and competitive man. He was hardworking. He believed that you could have all the talent in the world, but if you didn't have desire, you would amount to nothing. He used to tell us that practice made perfect. He said there's no such word as can't. So he was a very driven athlete and he was a natural athlete.
So how do you think he would feel and respond to knowing about this award this evening?
Oh, I think he'd be very, very pleased, very proud, and so would my mother. It would have been a wonderful thing for him and her.
And what kind of contributions did he give to society?
He did some coaching of young children. He was in the Kinsmen in his early years. He sang in choirs. He was that kind of thing is what he did. Yeah.
So what kind of legacy do you think that Sully has left behind?
Well, he's left us with a great deal of pride in what he did with the Rough Riders and his relationship with the Rough Riders. He's been somebody for the kids to look up to. He had a great sense of humor, and the grandchildren think back on all the times he used to play with them and throw the ball around. And his favorite phrase was, keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the ball.
After playing minor football with the East End Bombers and Campion Dales, Sully also played junior hockey in the 1930s and 40s with the Regina Abbots and the Commandos, as well as baseball with the Regina Caps and Red Sox. He was a halfback, fullback, and punter. Sully played in 1942 with the amalgamated Regina Rough Riders and Navy squad before joining the Navy, where he continued playing until returning to the Riders in 1945. Sully's first full season with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders was 1946, playing fullback, playing on defense, and punting until 1958. He declined offers from Toronto and Ottawa, preferring to play here at home in Regina for the mere sum of $300 per season. Injuries hindered his career, unfortunately, and a heart attack ultimately ended his playing days in 1958. But in 1955, at the age of 33, he gained 500 yards on 102 carries. He also played and coached baseball here in Regina, was known to be a singer of some repute, as he became well known for his musical shows and as a local radio sports commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 inductee, Sullivan Sully Glasser, athlete in the sport of football, and accepting the award is granddaughter Lisa McKenzie.
Firstly, I just wanted to say congratulations to all the other inductees, and good evening. It's with great pride and honor that my family and I are present to accept Sully's induction to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame on his behalf. We would like to take this opportunity to extend our thanks to both the nominating party and the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for their recognition and acknowledgement of Sully's active participation in support of and success in the Regina sports programs. He was a wonderful mentor and teacher to all of us, and his athleticism and passion for sport was passed down throughout all of the generations of our family. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank each and every family member on behalf of myself and his immediate family for traveling distance to be here this evening and sharing this special pride and celebration of this occasion with us. Tonight would not be the same without your presence. It is an incredible and amazing feeling for all of us to be together here, reflecting and sharing in reminiscence of his accomplishments. Thank you again so very, very much.
Our next inductee into the 2014 Regina Sports Hall of Fame is Karen Howard, a builder in the sport of figure skating.
I'm here with Karen Howard, one of the inductees for tonight's Regina Sports Hall of Fame. How are you doing this evening?
Very well, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me here tonight, and I want to ask you a few questions. Now, what got you into figure skating in the first place?
I actually started skating in my grandparents' backyard in Melville, and it was just simply ice on top of the garden, and that sparked my love of winter sports, and especially being from Saskatchewan, a great thing to do, and just continued on with it.
And now you do some monitoring for figure skaters. And what got you into continuing with that?
Well, I started judging figure skating, and that's my whole involvement here. And one of the things that I do while I'm in my role as a judge is to go out and monitor skaters and work with them to make improvements of things that they can do to always better their scores. I evaluate tests and I judge competitions.
So how are you feeling about this evening? Are you pretty excited? Any kind of feelings going on?
I'm very excited. I actually right now just have those good butterflies that for me it just tells me it's special and something to cherish tonight, to have this privilege and honor to be part of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. So do you have any kind of favorite memories over the years between figure skating and the judging that you've been doing?
I think my favorite memory, or it's like a combined memory where, I can be judging a national or international champion one week, and then the next week I'm back in the local arena judging a 7 or 8 year old. And that's been the great part of this involvement, is that it's been grassroots right through to a provincial level, to a national level, and international level. And it just keeps you very grounded to all levels of the sport. And that just intertwines that to being one big special memory.
So for your judging, has it been able to take you anywhere exciting over the years?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I've been to 15 countries around the world through the judging of figure skating, and that certainly has opened doors to seeing countries that I don't think you would just normally see on a tour or traveling, so that has been very special.
And after tonight, what kind of legacy are you hoping that you can leave behind?
For me, it's about lifelong involvement in sport, and something that you really enjoy and that you can continue to give back. In figure skating, we're volunteers, so for me, it's being able to give to amateur sport at all levels and just continue to be a part of that and role model to the youth of today that you can stay involved and just contribute to society in that way.
And any future plans to continue on with either skating itself or with judging?
Oh yes, the retirement age for an international judge is 70, and so I still have several years to go before I get to that. So I do plan to continue with all my judging, and I'm involved with a lot of committee work off the ice as well, and so just to continue to contribute in many ways.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, and once again, congratulations on this evening.
Thank you very much.
Karen became a judge and evaluator with Skate Canada back in 1981, and over the years has served on officials, coaches, and skater development committees, board of directors, a member of the board of directors for Saskatchewan, and also led seminars to evaluate judges and monitor skaters. Karen attended the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia, as a judge for women's figure skating, which would be the highlight of 32 years of officiating that included numerous international skating union events that have taken her throughout Europe, Asia, and North America, and also as an ISU judge in singles and pairs skating. Karen has been committed to mentoring and fairness and has also served nationally and provincially on technical and advisory committees for coaches, officials, assigners, promotions, high performance, and monitoring skaters. Karen passed the International Skating Union's examination in September of 2009, which allowed her to supervise international exam candidates and to set written examinations from 2010 through 2012. In 2014, Karen was the winner of Skate Canada's Officials Excellence Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 inductee Karen Howard, builder in the sport of figure skating.
I would like to begin tonight by thanking the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for selecting me as one of the 2014 inductees. It is an honor and a privilege to be part of this year's induction group. To my fellow inductees tonight, I offer you my congratulations as well. Sport offers so much to everyone who chooses to be involved, and I feel very fortunate for all that I have been given through my involvement in figure skating. Growing up in Melville, I was very fortunate to have many local individuals who role modeled the importance of being involved in one's community through volunteerism. As a figure skating judge, you are a volunteer, for we do not get paid for what we do. And for me, it has been a great way to support amateur sport, locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally, while having been able to have lifelong involvement in a sport I truly love. I could not have reached the highest level of judging without the support of my family. My parents always encouraged my initial involvement in judging when I began at age 16. Luckily, I have a spouse who has been very supportive as well. With his officiating background in hockey, he understood the commitment level it takes to achieve an international certification. My daughters have also been supportive, as there were many times when Mom was away and missed a few birthdays or basketball games over the years. Last winter, my favorite commercial on TV was the Canadian Tire one, where they said there was no unassisted goal in hockey. But the inference in that advertisement spoke volumes to me in broader terms of applying it to all sports and to all roles within sport, including officiating. For me to garner the experiences and the success I have had in judging figure skating, it has taken the support of so many people around me to reach a pinnacle like being assigned to judge skating at the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics. I mentioned earlier that I had I recognized my family support, and I'd also like to recognize that I've had many mentors. I've had them here both locally and across the country. Over the last year, I have often wished that I could have had my own Canadian Tire commercial to show the network of support I received over all my years of involvement in skating. In closing, I've always encouraged our local and provincial athletes who are nearing the end of their amateur involvement in sport to consider continuing to be involved through another avenue, such as officiating. For I have always found that one gets back so much more than they give when involved in sport. Certainly, this has been true for me, and tonight's induction is a very good example of that. Thank you again to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for this very great honor.
Our next inductee into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2014 induction class is George Watson, a builder in multi-sports.
I'm here with George Watson, and he's one of the 6 inductees into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations today.
Thank you.
And I just have a few questions I want to ask you, starting off with what got you into volunteering with all the different sports, especially with hockey?
Well, I was asked that question once before. Why do I volunteer? I thought for a minute, and the answer that came back is I come from a family of volunteers. My mom and dad always volunteered. My siblings volunteer, and they all volunteer. And it's kind of second nature to us to be volunteers. And that started it. And then, of course, when I got into it, I enjoyed it.
And do you focus a lot with younger children, or what's your kind of age group?
Well, my age group is pretty much everything as far as sport goes, and it's amateur sport that I'm mostly involved with. My main involvement has been with hockey, and at varying levels, from the local level to the provincial level to the national level, and even some international involvement a bit in hockey. And it's been all. It mainly started with the lower age groups through minor hockey, and then worked up from there.
So do you have some favorite moments throughout the years that you could share with us?
You know, I was talking to my brother today on the phone, and I was trying to make up my speech for tonight. And I told him, I says, they want you to speak from 3 to 5 minutes. I says, it's hard to put 50 years of volunteering into 3 to 5 minutes. But yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of things that have happened that I'm very proud of. One is, of course, the formation of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, as I was the one who pushed the committee and got it going, and then was the first president of it. And I carried on, and then the big thing that I'm probably most proud of is the way things carry on after I've left. You look at the provincial kids sport, and I was the first provincial chair of that, and it's been carried on. It's become a very, very big entity now in amateur sport. And that's probably it, is the proudness of being able to sit back now when I'm not as involved and seeing the fruits of my labor, if you want to call it that.
There's definitely been a lot of growing happening over the years from this.
Yeah, there has, yeah.
So how are you feeling today after being inducted into the Regina's Hall of Fame?
I'm feeling very proud. I really am very proud. I know when Barry phoned me, I didn't even know I'd been nominated, okay? And I was driving into Regina, climbing the Lumsden Hill, when my cell phone rang. And phone rang, and I answered. He says, Barry Tamman, member as president. And I said, Barry, I just got to pull over. And I thought because I actually recruited Barry to the board of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, and I thought he was trying to recruit me back. And I pulled over, and he He says, I'm just phoning to inform you you're going to be inducted in the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. And I actually got choked up a bit when he said that. As I said, I didn't even know I had been nominated. So yeah, it's a very proud moment for me. Yes, it is, yeah.
And now there's a hockey tournament that happens every year with your name in it. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, it's called the George Watson Adam AA Classic. It's held in January, this year from the 16th to the 18th of January. It is for the age groups 9 and 10-year-olds. Okay, it is, from what we can find anyway, the longest continuous running hockey tournament in Canada at that age group, at that particular age group, who started back in the 1960s by the coaches of that age group at that time, and it's been running ever since. And we will have teams in it, probably from the 3 Prairie provinces and possibly even 1 or 2 from the States. And we've even had them from Northwest Territories over the years. So, yeah, it'll be a 32-team tournament, and it'll be a very good tournament. Yeah.
Good. So after everything that you've done throughout the years and after the award that you've received this evening, what kind of legacy are you hoping that you can leave behind?
I think probably the legacy is, I've already mentioned, of some of the things that I've been involved with starting, continuing on. Okay, and that's a legacy that'll be there. That's great. That's fine for me.
Well, thank you so much for your time tonight, and once again, congratulations.
George has been a longtime volunteer with virtually everything that's played out there: hockey, baseball, curling, community organizations. He was the commissioner of the Metropolitan Minor Hockey Association from 1978 through 1980 and was the first president of the Queen City Minor Hockey Association in 1980-81 before taking roles with the Saskatchewan Amateur Hockey Association's minor division. He was chairman from 1985 to 1988. He was the Saskatchewan Amateur Hockey Association's second vice president in 88-89 and was the director of minor council for the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association from 1991 through 1995 and vice president of hockey operations for Saskatchewan Hockey from 1996 through 1997. He was also the Canadian Hockey Association director for Centre of Excellence, Research and Development in 1997 and 1998. He's coached minor sports and served on numerous hosting committees over the years for sporting championships here in our city. And as an independent evaluator for Hockey Regina, numerous volunteer positions, which included 5 years on Sask Sports Board, including 1993 and 1994 as president. He was the first chair of Provincial Kids Sport here in Saskatchewan, and it should be noted that he was also the inaugural president of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame from 2003 to 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. He created it, might as well be in, 2014 inductee George Watson, builder multisport.
That amounts to quite an introduction when you see it, hear it. First of all, I would like to thank the Induction Committee of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for my induction into the hall. It's a very big honor to be inducted into this hall. I would also like to offer my congratulations to the fellow inductees. They are all very deserving for the recipients that they're getting. Over the years, my involvement in sport has given me many favorable experiences. It has taken me to every province in Saskatchewan to attend meetings or to supervise minor hockey tournaments right across Canada. The opportunity to meet and work with very interesting and dedicated people at all levels, locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally. Many of these individuals have become lifelong friends. Far too many for me to name at this time, unless you're willing to sit here until about midnight. Some interesting times are spent with these friends, such as the discussions over such topics as Canada Games or exploits on the golf course with Norbert Thurmeyer. You saw the picture of Norbert and I up there at a golf tournament. The many discussions on the state of hockey with Father Time, Graham Tour. I'm going to mention one of these discussions. Graham came over to see me one time when I think I was chairman of minor for Saskatchewan at the time, and he was bringing over some papers to me. And over the years, Graham had phoned me many times. My mother-in-law lived with us. He had gotten to know her very well, and she'd gotten to know him. Graham and I would oftentimes get into some very good discussions. Some of them would sound very vocal, And we'd go on and on and on. And we got into one of those discussions that time. And it was all in good fun. I have to honestly say that. It was all in good fun, but my mother-in-law was in the living room. We were out in the kitchen area, and I could hear her going from one door to the other, listening to what we were saying. When Graham left, she came running out. She says, "Are you and Graham having a major argument all the time like that?" Graham, you can remember that, I think. Also, the many trips to hockey functions around Saskatchewan with John Maddie and Bill Edwards. The meetings and discussions with Jim Burnett and Paul Barnby at the SaskSport offices. And I could go on and on and on with all of these things. I'm also very proud to have been involved in many organizations and projects in sport, and I'm proud of how these have carried on after I was no longer involved. This could only have happened because of the dedicated individuals involved as well. Just to mention a few of these, Chris mentioned that I was the president of, or the commissioner of Metropolitan Minor Hockey Association, and then became the first president of the Queen City Minor Hockey Association. We spent a couple of years working with two other hockey leagues in Regina, setting up that amalgamation between Regina Minor Hockey Association, Metropolitan Minor Hockey Association, and Jaguar Hockey. Over the years, after we made that amalgamation, this has led to what is now called Hockey Regina, Inc., which controls all of minor hockey within the city of Regina. Another one was the establishment of the World Junior Hockey Legacy Fund in 1991, formed from the profits from the host committee of the 1991 World Junior Championship, which I had the honor of chairing. Over the years, that fund granted close to $100,000 for minor hockey programs in Regina. Recently, we disbanded the fund, dispersed the remainder of the funds, approximately $55,000, and split it between Regina Kids Sport, which I was involved with at one time, and Hockey Regina, Inc. The funds to Hockey Regina, Inc. are being used to sponsor 2 scholarship funds for graduating hockey players and officials. Another one was the establishment of the Kids Sport Fund in a number of communities in Saskatchewan. For the first 3 years of that fund, I was the chairman, provincial chairman, and I spent hours riding with staff from SaskSport to various centers throughout Saskatchewan trying to sell the idea of Kids Sport Fund. The fund has flourished over the years due to the dedicated work of a number of individuals, and is used to provide funds to underprivileged youth to participate in sporting activities. I would also be negligent if I did not mention the formation, of course, of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. It was formed in 2002, had its first induction, as you can see, in 2003. I was fortunate enough to have been asked by the Mayor of Regina, Doug Archer, in 2000, to form a committee to investigate the formation of this Hall of Fame. The committee of 7 worked at this, and it led to the Regina Sports Hall of Fame, and as we said, formation in 2002. We were very fortunate and glad to have a lady by the name of Marlene Hoffman come on the board. After 2 years, and my being president for 2 years, we elected Marlene as president. She's worked hard over the many years since then to make the Regina Sports Hall of Fame a success. And as you can see from tonight, I think it is a great success. Every one of these continued to have success because of the people who took them over and spent the time and effort to make them successful. I once was told by an individual that was heading a committee that I was on in the Canadian Hockey Association that in order to make your programs a success, surround yourself with dedicated people that are not afraid to put forth an effort and who will buy into the program and its philosophies. And I've been fortunate enough to have done that over the years. Now I may get a little emotional in this last part here. I'd be very remiss if I did not mention my family. I once was asked, in fact I was asked it tonight when interviewed by Access just before the ceremonies here, why did I become a volunteer? I thought for a minute, and the first thing that came to my mind was because I come from a family of volunteers
Mom and Dad were always involved in something in the community. Never afraid to say, okay, I'll help. I also have a number of siblings who were and are involved in the community. Again, never afraid to say yes. I have a couple of my brothers here tonight with me, and they both have been very much involved in the communities. I would also like to say that a couple of my proudest moments in sport and activities involve my children. One, when my son Blair came to me when he was nearing the end of his minor hockey playing days and declared that he wanted to take up coaching. And he then threw himself into the coaching program of the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association. Very successfully, I might add. The other was when my daughter came home one night and told Connie and I that she was going to be coaching dancing at one of the community centers. Very proud to say they're carrying on a bit of tradition of volunteering. Both of them have now passed on the torch to their offspring, who have continued to participate in their activities and or coach in them. I also have to mention my wife, Connie. In all the activities and times I was away, she had to make sure that everything on the home front was running as smoothly as possible. She also had to spend a lot of time standing on street corners waiting for me to get to where I was supposed to be. Case in point, and especially this one, was when I was president at Sassport Inc. After I was done teaching, at the end of the day, I would almost every day go down to the Sassport office for a meeting or to meet with Jim Burnett, Paul Barnby, and would lose track of time. Connie would be waiting for me to pick her up on the corner of Lawrence Street and 13th Avenue, sometimes in the dead cold of winter. I give my heartfelt thanks for all your understanding and support. Tom, I'm sorry I did not have the dream that you thought I would. Tom Shepard said he was going to write my speech for me, and he was started off by saying, last night I had a dream. I'll let the rest of you fill that in and know what Tom says when he says that. I also want to point out that one of the sports that I had very little to do with was football. Now, if all of you look at the back of your ticket, it says George Watson, builder, football. I knew football wanted me to get involved with their programs, but they went to quite an extreme here. Gary Mather says that Tom was responsible for doing the pickets. I don't know. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for the honor you've given me here tonight, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming and being part of this special evening for me. Thank you.
Our final inductee into the 2014 Regina Sports Hall of Fame class comes in the team category. It is the 1987-88 Regina Pat Canadians in the sport of hockey.
I'm here with Roland Duplessis, and he was the 87-88 coach of Regina Pat's Canadian team. Thanks for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
So now tell me, how did you get into coaching in the first place?
I started a long time ago in 1974 in Saskatoon coaching a AA midget team, and that just got me hooked. I had a really good year and moved to Regina the next year, and then I started coaching the Regina Knights in the AA midget league, and it just went from there to the Pat Canadians in 87-88.
And now you guys won the AAA National Midget Championships, correct?
That's right.
And what was the feeling like for yourself and for the team?
Well, I mean, it's the ultimate, the Air Canada Cup at the time. TELUS Cup now was the major event for midget hockey in the country. So we'd set our goals early on in that year to win. We knew we had a really good team. And we just put everything together, and at the end of the day, we won it. We were ecstatic. The boys were really excited. And we're best friends to this day, so what can you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you have any kind of favorite memories from the years with the team?
Oh, there's many, many memories. I mean, each of these boys had a special talent, special skill, brought something to the table. Some of those games were just unbelievable. The skill level was so high. I always say that I had the best seat in the house there as far as watching that team play after mid-February. There was really no coaching needed. These kids just turned it on, and they were just unbelievable.
Now, is there anyone from the team that are still continuing on with hockey to this day?
Well, it's just about, they're 43 years old, these boys now, they're 26 years later. So most of the kids have finished their career. Most of them went on. We had 13 listed kids in the Western Hockey League. They went on and played in the Western Hockey League. Some went on to pro. Terry Hollinger played for a considerable period of time. Others played minor pro and that sort of thing. None of them had an outstanding NHL career, but they're all successful gentlemen today, and they I think, contribute to society in a meaningful way, and that's all we want from our boys, really.
Absolutely. So what's the feeling been like for yourself and from the team in general about receiving this award tonight?
Oh, we're really excited. We knew something would eventually happen, that people would really recognize that was a very special group of people. And so when it came, it was not a total surprise, yet it was a welcome surprise, because 26 years later you start to think maybe memories have faded. And especially when you get to be my age, you think maybe you're not going to see the day where these kids get their right reward. And they did, and so today we're just going to enjoy it. We're really going to have a good time with it. The guys are going to have a good time, I think, this evening, and rehash some old memories. And we're just loving this.
Oh, and as you should be, for sure. So any kind of legacy that you guys are hoping that you can be leaving behind from this award tonight?
Well, we've most of my players are coaches or have coached since they've quit playing hockey, and I think that's the legacy. The legacy is of passing on what they know in the game of hockey and life as well. They're all successful people. Like, these guys have gone on to great careers. I don't have anybody off that team that wasn't successful.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time this evening, and congratulations to you and to the team on your award tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
1987-1988, Regina Pat Canadians had one of those kind of seasons. They finished atop the Saskatchewan Midget AAA hockey table with a record of 25, 5-2, 15 points clear of the second-place Notre Dame Hounds. The team scored 248 goals that year. They allowed just 125. And not surprisingly, they swept Notre Dame 3-0 in the league final to cap the 7-game playoff winning streak. From there, they went to the regional championships in Deloraine, Manitoba. They earned their spot into the Air Canada Cup National Midget AAA Championships in Thunder Bay, ultimately defeating the hosts, Thunder Bay Bearcats, 4-3 in double overtime to earn their way into the final, which they ultimately won 7-4 over the Calgary North Stars. We're extremely pleased to have a number of members of this 1987-1988 Regina Pat Canadians team with us tonight. Craig Lombard, Craig Foe, Darren Wetherill, Bart Cote, Terry Hollinger, Cam McClellan, Kelly Marquardt, Shane Halunga, Jason Martin, Greg Hutchings, Scott Reed, Jason Lutz, Mike Merck, Jeff Sebastian, Jamie Splett, Devin Mintz, Kim Perpeluk, Corey Patterson, Darren Walitsky, head coach Roland Duplessis, assistant coach was Dale Vossen, Graham Tour, the team manager, and the trainer, Rob Hutt Harrison. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome into the Regina Sports Hall of Fame 2004 inductees, the 1987, 1988 Regina Pat Canadians in the sport of hockey. Coming forward to accept the induction, head coach Roland Duplessis.
"26 years. We waited 26 years for this, so we're going to enjoy it. I got old in the meantime. Anyway, I want to thank the Regina Sports Hall of Fame for the induction of the 87-88 Pat Canadians into the Hall. Also, thanks for hosting this event. It's a classy event, and it's something we're all going to remember. It means a lot to us, too, by the way. Congratulations to all the other inductees. The Pat Canadians are proud to be in your company tonight to go into the Hall. There are so many that need to be thanked or acknowledged. If I forget anyone, please forgive me. Thanks to the parents who supported the players. I know there's a lot of parents here tonight. Parents get forgotten in sports in general. It's easy, they take a lot of criticism, but without good, solid parents, especially to get kids to the level that these guys got to and went on past, takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And so that sacrifice has to be recognized tonight. By the way, thanks for building that dressing room for us that year. That was a great deal. Thanks a lot. Thanks to the grandparents, siblings, former coaches, and friends that supported the players throughout the years. It means so much to them. The young kids need that kind of support all the way through, and they can all remember back to the people that supported them through the years. Thanks to the Regina Boys League, the Regina Pats Hockey Club, and the Saskatchewan Hockey Association for their support and contribution to our success that year. Thanks to Graham Tour for being the best manager ever. Graham gets a lot of credit. I know he's in the hall already, and people give him a lot of credit, and it's not even half of what he deserves. He's an unbelievable guy. I've spent a lot of time with him, and just a great man, and he contributed lots to our success. Dale Vossen for being such a dedicated and loyal assistant coach, and good luck, Dale, with your Legionnaires. Dale's still coaching AAA midget, so that's a fantastic thing. Rob Hutt Harrison for the tireless work to support the boys as trainer and equipment manager. I want to thank, while I get the opportunity here, the wives and families of people that volunteer to coach minor hockey teams. And by the way, I never got a nickel for coaching minor hockey. And I know now at AAA midget, a lot of those coaches are getting money. I don't think Dale's getting a heck of a lot. Certainly, if you go back over the years, if you break it down, it's probably virtually nothing, $10 a day. Thanks to my wife, Connie, Graham's wife, Verna, Dale's wife, Kim, and our families. Without their support, none of this would have been possible for us. Now to the team. What an honor. After tonight, you and your teammates and the accomplishments of the Regina Pat Canadians of 87, 88 will be remembered forever. We talked about winning the championship, how that we'd go down in history, and that would never be forgotten. Well, this will never be forgotten for sure. We started on a journey that year with one goal in mind. We wanted to play in the last midget AAA game of the season and win it. We openly talked about it and dreamed about it until it happened. Our captain, Craig Poe, and assistant Scott Reed and Greg Hutchings never let anyone forget the goal, and they were more like assistant coaches throughout the year. Over the years, I've been asked what the secret of the success of the team was. I always say having the fastest, strongest, and smartest players, keeping the system simple, and then as coaches getting out of the way and letting the players take ownership and execute. And execute they did. It was sheer perfection that year. A couple of memories. Some of the parents and the kids are going to remember this. They're not kids anymore. They're older than I was when I coached the team. We were down a goal to Thunder Bay with 48 seconds left in the semifinal game of the Air Canada Cup, and the game was played in Thunder Bay. So they had the home crowd behind them, and they played a heck of a game against us. The face-off was in their end, and we called a timeout. There was absolutely no panic during the timeout. In fact, there was a quiet calmness that can only come with absolute confidence. I've had many times out in my hockey coaching, and there's always that panic on the bench, and guys wondering if they're the guy that's going to go out there. There's confusion that goes on normally. But this was the most quiet, serene time on that bench in that game that you can imagine. Anyway, the draw's taken. The puck goes in behind the net, and Greg Hutchings totally destroys the D-man, getting possession of the puck. He went in there. I probably should have got a cross-checking penalty, but they didn't call it. So anyway, he throws it out in front, and we had a pure goal scorer, Devin Mintz, who's here tonight, who's standing in front, wide open, and he just plops it into the goal, and we tie the game. It took 6 seconds. So now it's 2-2. Unbelievable goaltending by Craig Lombard and their goaltender take the game to double overtime. Lombard in that game stopped about 67 shots, I think. I might be out a couple shots, but he was just absolutely brilliant. We end up winning on a blistering backhand by Corey Patterson after he steals the puck on the forecheck. It's ironic because 20 seconds before Corey scores, some guys on the bench are asking me to tell Patterson to shut up because he keeps telling everyone to just give him the puck. I just responded by saying, well, maybe you should give him the puck when he scored. So he was a hero there. And if you ever see the replay of that game, the blistering backhanded shot may not be a blistering backhanded shot, but it was pretty interesting. Let me tell you, when we won that game, putting us into the final of the Air Canada Cup, our dream was coming true. In the final game, we had to play the Calgary North Stars, who had an absolutely awesome team and had beat us in the MAC tournament and the round robin of the Air Canada Cup a couple of days earlier. I'm sure they thought it would be easy. Although we won the final 7-4, we were losing 2-1 near the end of the first period. It didn't look real good for us. We were on the penalty kill, and they had a deadly power play with Wes Walls. If any of your hockey fans here, Wes Walls had an outstanding career with the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and then went to the National Hockey League and had an outstanding career playing with Calgary Flames, maybe a couple other teams. Anyway, he went on to an extra career in the NHL. Then the game turned around completely on one play. Kelly Markward blocks a shot from the blue line, bounces up, and chases the puck, which had deflected off the boards right at center ice and right back into the middle of the ice. Like, I think God took it, placed it, and put it there for him. Anyway, he just chases straight down. He gets up so quick and chases down the ice, and we knew that game was going to be tied. And it was only about a minute and a half or 2 minutes left in the first period, and so I thought for sure we were going into that first intermission down 1-0, and I thought, not again. This is not going to be the third defeat for us. Can't happen. But Kelly picks that thing up, and he goes straight in, and he puts the puck right straight upstairs, right right up under the crossbar. Tom Watt, who's doing the analysis on TV, says he put it up where Grandma keeps the cookies. If you see that, it's unbelievable. We went into the break tied 2-2, and it was no contest after that. I remember when we won the this is going back a little bit before that, but I remember when we won the consolation at the Max tournament, and everyone had been devastated because that same North Star team had taken us, knocked us down to the consolation event, and we had our sights set on winning the MAC tournament that year. Everyone, including the coaches, were really down. I remember the guys in the dressing room; their heads were just down. We thought, it was the end of it for us. And then Hut Harrison, our trainer, comes into the room and he says, "Why are you guys down? This is great." The last Pat Canadian team to win the Air Canada Cup also won the consolation at the Max. Everybody perked up, and we thought, wow, we're the team of destiny now. And we just went on from there. It just so happens, I'm pretty sure that Bill Lisquit's team that was the team that had won that is in the hall now too. So we just kind of followed along the route of the Pat Canadians there. These are just a couple of the memories. There are tons more, and I'm sure the players have been sharing these over the last couple of days. This was a special group of friends that accomplished something that has been recognized tonight. You are all Canadian champions, and now you are all members of the Regina Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Thank you very much.